We are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios. This is Prime News on SABC 3 and in your top stories at this hour. 2 people have been confirmed dead, while 3 remain entrapped underneath the rubble following the Verulam temple collapse in KwaZulu-Natal. About 249 people have lost their lives following 213 road crashes around the country since the start of the festive season from the 1st of December. And Airports Company South Africa has provided assurance of its preparedness for the peak festive travel season. It's a Friday night and you are tuned into Prime News on SABC 3. My name is Beki Mutumomolete. Now tonight we bring you the top stories that demand your attention. I invite you to stick with us as we get into your leads. And here they are. We launch with this. 2 fatalities have been confirmed following the collapse of a 4-story temple in Verulam in KwaZulu-Natal today. The temple is reported to have been a construction site. Provincial spokesperson for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Senzelwe Mzila, has refuted claims that the weather conditions may have caused the incident. Meanwhile, the MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure in the province has called for investigations into the collapse. Survivors trapped under the rubble are communicating telephonically as rescue operations continue on the scene.
We've got our disaster management teams who are here on the ground right now. We've got the SAPS as well. The scene right now belongs to these teams who are busy with ensuring that those that are entrapped, we do find a way to take them out from where they've been trapped in right now. We also do have our firefighter teams who are here right now, and we do have a number of machinery as well that is being brought on site to assist with this rescue or recovery operation.
We will give all support that we can as a department. We will make our officials, our structural engineers and all of that available if needed, if so requested by eThekwini and by other bodies to help with investigations. And we call on a SWOT investigation to see what has happened here and to ensure that that this never happens again. Because if something like this happens, it's important for us to learn from it and to move forward. We're very saddened if that there was a death here, and we hope that the recovery operation of those who are still trapped will happen.
About 249 people have lost their lives following 213 road crashes around the country since the start of the festive season from the 1st of December. Briefing the media during an inter-provincial law enforcement operation in Maubane, Limpopo, just outside Pretoria, Transport Minister Barbara Creasy stated that although these statistics are concerning, they still reflect a 30% decline for both fatal crashes and road fatalities compared to the same period last year.
We have done everything in our power to make sure that our cars are safe, our drivers are sober every time, and they always rest after every 200 kilometers they traveled.
Since the start of the festive season on the 1st of December, we have recorded 213 fatal crashes, resulting in 249 fatalities. Now, this does represent a decrease of 30% over the same period last year. And it's only in Mpumalanga where we have seen an increase in fatalities and crashes. In every other province, there has been a decrease.
We call upon our drivers who are the faces of the industry to say, behave yourself, respect yourself so that you can respect other road users, so that at the end of the day everybody is free. We don't want any casualties this festive season. We say let the people arrive alive.
Next up, Airports Company South Africa has provided assurance of its preparedness for the peak festive travel season. AXA CEO Mpumi Mpofu says that they have recorded 11.6 million departing passengers so far this year, which is an increase from last year. Mpofu was speaking during a briefing on the 2025 integrated peak season update.
AXA says it's ready to receive increased passenger volumes as the holiday travel surge gets underway. CEO Mpumi Mpofu says the necessary systems have been strengthened to ensure that challenges, including those related to ATNS, do not disrupt operations.
The period we were planning initially even for G20, but also for just the peak season, ATNS has indicated quite clearly that they are almost at the tail end of resolving all of their challenges. Particularly the issue of outstanding procedures has seen that really almost covered altogether.
On the financial performance, Mpofu says AXA was able to achieve 10 out of the 11 key performance indicators, which includes financial sustainability.
Aeronautical revenue, we missed that target by achieving 4.061 billion as opposed to the target of 4.122 billion that we had set for ourselves. And that shortfall in aeronautical is directly related to some of the disruptions we had on the international side. Largely, we had also some challenges from ATNS that resulted in cancellation of flights. We also have not had full recovery on the international airlines. As such, some of them have come back, but they've not reinstalled their entire frequencies, and that really just is a clear indication of we missed it by 61 million in the billion. So in our scheme of things, that's not too bad.
Nosipho Khatebe, SABC News, Kempton Park.
Gauteng Health MEC Nomantu Nkomo Ralihuku says that the province is ready to handle the expected rise in medical emergencies this festive season. This as more than 520 emergency vehicles are ready to be deployed with more than 1,000 staff members per shift. Ralihuku was speaking during a media briefing at the Total Energies Petroport on the N3 in Heidelberg.
With thousands of people expected to travel in and out of Gauteng during the festive season, Emergency Services says all systems are in place. MEC for Health in Gauteng says they have sufficient health workers and resources to manage the period running from the 1st of December to the 12th of January 2026.
In emergency cases, every second counts, and our dedicated team of 128,000 staff members per shift are ready to respond to calls in an effort to save lives. Our Provincial Health Operations Center is also well equipped to monitor the volume of calls, track the emergency response times, handle hospital diverts, track emergency vehicle movements, and monitor daily operational strength across the 5 districts in Gauteng.
The department emphasized the need for communities to protect health workers who face threats when they are on duty.
Our citizens should remember to protect our health workers, which is something that we as government we also highlight. We always talk about gender-based violence, but we also should talk about the protection of health workers that are exposed to the crime elements and so on. Because as paramedics being robbed or being exposed to robberies, those people that are robbing our paramedics out there lives among the citizens.
Lerato Makula, SABC News in Johannesburg.
In related news, Johannesburg Public Safety MMC Mgcini Chwaku says that the city is entering the festive season with strengthened enforcement capacity and improved emergency response systems. He was addressing the media on the progress made across public safety departments, including JMPD and EMS.
A minor few stops in the drops in November. The key unit drastically increased the arrest by 56%. The firearm seizures increased by 75%, showing a marked improvement in tactical precision, a higher yield per operation, and in the combined month of October and November, 195 arrests were done, 89 vehicles recovered, 22 firearms removed from the circulation.
After the break, some of the political parties in Parliament have weighed in on the breach in the 2025 Matric examinations. This and more when we return. Welcome back to Prime News on 3. Some of the political parties in Parliament have weighed in on the breach in the 2025 Matric examinations. They are calling for a comprehensive investigation into the matter, including all the 9 provinces, arguing that the leak might be a tip of the iceberg. This is after a leak of the English, mathematics and physical science examination material in Pretoria in Gauteng.
The 2025 Matric examination breach was announced by the Minister of Basic Education, Sifiwe Kwagoba, during an urgent media briefing yesterday, saying it was identified from learners in 7 schools in Pretoria.
It was detected because markers whose training includes investigative marking are equipped to know the difference between authentic learner responses and content that should only be accessible to markers.
The ACDP believes that the minister is whitewashing the breach.
Sadly, this has been occurring all too often in the Department of Basic Education. While the minister has indicated that this leak was limited to about 12 schools in the Pretoria area, it is the view of the ACDP that there can be no certainty to that limitation.
While the MK is calling for a comprehensive investigation countrywide,
we therefore, as Omotoso, call for large-scale investigation into how many other provinces are affected by this leakage of papers and how it may possibly affect the 2025 learner pass rate to be announced early next year. What systems were activated to prevent these incidents?
Build One South Africa wants the full investigation to be tabled in Parliament upon completion.
What we're asking of the minister is a full investigation report. Once this investigation is concluded, that it must be tabled to Parliament and it must detail exactly how this breach occurred.
Kwagoba says the 2 officials implicated in the leak have been suspended and the matter has been reported to the police. Abongwe Kobogane, SABC News, Parliament.
The NPA's bid to have charges reinstated against televangelist Timothy Omotoso has hit a dead end. The High Court in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape has dismissed the NPA's application for leave to appeal the acquittal of Omotoso. Omotoso and his co-accused, Lusanda Sulani and Zuki Swasito, were found not guilty by Judge Irma Skuman on charges of rape and human trafficking in April this year. Skuman said that the state had failed to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. In her judgment, she was scathing about the conduct of the prosecutors handling the case, such as using a day out of the 9 days allocated to cross-examine Omotoso. The state argued in its application that Skuman focused on how the trial was conducted and not on the law and the evidence of witnesses. In July, Skuman dismissed the NPA's application for clarification on the acquittal of Omotoso. Thank you for staying with us. Colombian President Gustavo Petro has condemned the recent seizure of an oil tanker by U.S. forces. This follows the U.S. interception of a Venezuelan oil tanker off the country's coast on Wednesday, the first confiscation of an oil cargo from the country since sanctions were implemented back in 2019.
During the second Western Caribbean People's Summit in San Andres, Colombian President Gustavo Petro argued that the recent bombings in Caribbean waters were driven by a global economic order that is dependent on fossil fuels. This comes as the U.S. has carried out several strikes against suspected drug trafficking vessels in recent weeks, raising concerns among lawmakers and legal experts about the extent of military operations in the region. Regarding the seizure of the Venezuelan tanker, Petro described the incident as an act of oil piracy.
They just seized the ship. It is oil piracy, in other words. They're showing why they are doing what they are doing. Oil, oil, and more oil. But oil is about to die as a driver of economic development for our people. So we have to think about another kind of development.
However, U.S. President Donald Trump said more strikes would soon follow.
It has to do with a lot of things. They've treated us badly, and I guess now we're not treating them so good. If you look at the drug traffic by sea is down 92%. And nobody can figure out who the 8% is, because I have no idea. Anybody getting involved in that right now is not doing well. And we'll start that on land, too. It's going to be starting on land pretty soon.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has condemned the operation, calling it an act of criminal naval piracy. He also claims the vessel was seized far from Venezuelan waters as it approached the Atlantic. Bonolo Maripe, SABC News.
And now here's the latest market update as recorded at 7:30 this evening. In your sports update, while there's still a dark cloud hanging over coach Hugo Broos related to apparent racist and sexist remarks made at a media briefing in Pretoria on Wednesday, Bafana Bafana continue with preparations for the upcoming Africa Cup of Nations tournament in Morocco.
Bafana Bafana are in camp at the High Performance Center in Pretoria. They are keen to go one better following their third place finish in the previous AFCON tournament in Ivory Coast and reach the final.
Looking at the legends and some of them, they have seen them, they interact with them, they didn't know much about them. But me being part of the team, I believe that it has helped in terms of just making sure that we share my experiences, that I had, with the successful team of Bafana Bafana in '96.
Former Bafana Bafana striker Mark Williams scored a brace from the bench in the famous 2-0 win against Tunisia in the 1996 AFCON final at the FNB Stadium.
I think it's now 29 years. Next year will be 30 years. And I got the name because of these fans that some of them were sitting here and they call me the nation builder. And I think it's by time that we can give the bet over to the coaches. There are two coaches. And I think that new step where they missed out in the semi-final, they can bring the cup back.
The Bafana Bafana technical team and players are counting on the nation to throw their weight behind them throughout the tournament in Morocco.
Message to the nation as you go to Morocco? I would say we thank you for the love that you have shown us, and we feel it each and every minute when we are in camp. We just ask you again and urge you to continue to support the team.
For SABC News, I am Omotoso Ndlovu in Johannesburg.
Meanwhile, as Bafana Bafana continue with final preparations ahead of this month's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, the nation is still dumbstruck as to how a once rudderless ship is now sailing smoothly. The appointment of coach Hugo Broos 4 years ago seems to be one of the main reasons. Fostering unity, consistency in selections, and discipline are some of the key ingredients that have made Broos successful.
Bafana Bafana were the laughingstock of South African sport not too long ago. The national team struggled to qualify for AFCON tournaments, not to mention World Cups. In fact, they last qualified for the global showpiece 23 years ago. But this has changed since the appointment of the then little-known 73-year-old Belgian. He's off to a second successive AFCON tournament after having finished third in Ivory Coast last year. And Broos will sign off on his career at next year's World Cup in the Americas.
Senior players in the squad are key to the team because obviously they've been at the previous AFCON, they've got the experience, they know what they're doing, and they've accepted the youngsters to come into the squad and guided the players. So the core of the team has remained the same, and that's key to the current squad.
Hugo, when he came here, I don't think he understood the DNA of South African football and the players, but obviously more time spent in South Africa, then he started understanding the DNA of South African players. And I must give him credit because he's doing it very well.
Togetherness and team unity, which Broos have fostered, are some of the ingredients that have made it easy for the team to gel and play as a unit. And that's one of the reasons the team's unbeaten in their last 24 matches, the 10th longest unbeaten streak ever in world football. He's been there and done that as a player. Broos, a former Belgian international, wishes to achieve the same as a coach. Passing out to SABC News, Johannesburg.
From sunrise to sunset, we now bring you the latest on what you can expect in our southern skies. Our weather team is on standby with the details. Coming right up.
Thank you very much and a very warm welcome to the Weather Desk. Time for us to look at those conditions over the country now. We're still expecting a trough that's causing instability over most of the central parts of the country. That is why we do expect this band of showers and thunderstorm showers widespread over the interior of the Eastern Cape, stretching into parts of the Free State all the way into the interior of the Eastern Cape. Just isolated as we move into Gauteng, Limpopo. We do expect a cold front over Cape Town, dropping temperatures significantly over the mother city and also causing a 60% chance of showers and rain over that coast. Moving towards tomorrow's conditions, it is going to be a cloudy day over most of the country, just isolated over the southern parts of the Western Cape, stretching into the Eastern Cape. We still expect that band of showers and thunderstorm showers still widespread over the northwest, stretching into Free State all the way into that interior of KwaZulu-Natal. Tomorrow, it is a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorm showers over Gauteng, stretching into Limpopo and all the way into Mpumalanga, with KwaZulu-Natal expecting rainy conditions for tomorrow, persistent possibilities of flooding for tomorrow. Looking at our warnings for tonight, we still expect up to level 5 warning of some severe thunderstorm over that interior of the Northern Cape, stretching to parts of Free State. Level 2 as we move towards the Eastern Cape. Moving towards the coast, it is a level 2 warning of some damaging winds. For tomorrow, level 5 warning of severe thunderstorm over the northwest, becoming a level 4 as we move into Gauteng all the way towards the northwest and also KwaZulu-Natal. Do remember, these severe thunderstorms can be accompanied by a large amount of small hail, heavy downpours which can lead to flooding and also possibility of strong damaging winds. Temperature-wise, it is going to be a cool day over most of, cool night rather over most of the country, 15 over Johannesburg, existing over Polokwane, the mother city, with that cold front coming in, expecting a low of 15. 22 will be a maximum for tomorrow. Remember, that cold front will be branching the southern parts of the country. That is also expecting cool conditions during the day over most of the over those areas. 21 over Cape Devon, expecting a high of 24. Up north, Musina, it is going to be a hot day for tomorrow with a maximum of 36. That's all the weather I have for you. Stay tuned.
And that is a wrap. We have delivered your bulletin with prime impact. We wish you a wonderful weekend ahead. And until next time, from myself, Becky, and the team, stay ahead and be safe. Good night.